Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Inner Monologue. I am RV Alistair, author of Blue Lights, Black Lights, A Little Broken, and more. Constantly writing. About to go right after I get done writing. Not writing. After I get done recording this, I'm about to go write. So, yeah. So today's question: what scene almost got cut? To be honest, none. No scenes had gotten like chopped in Blue Lights. I feel like, and I've been writing for a long time. I feel like I've gotten to a point now where if I have, if I started writing a scene that I know does not service the story as a whole, I'll stop, or I'll figure out how to make the scene service the story as a whole. Otherwise, I won't write it to begin with. But there were definitely scenes that I added between draft one and draft two of Blue Lights. Things that deepened understanding and raised the stakes. Um, when I when I sent the first draft to my cousin to read, some of the notes that he sent back was one, love Willie, need more of him in there. So I added a scene or two that had more of him that gave some insight. That scene that I described in, I believe it was the last video. Yes, I did describe in the last video because I started going on a tangent about how environment could tell a story. But the scene where Major's stepdad, the step demon, is like trying to get Major back, but Major is like kind of guarded right now. And Willie, the local homeless man of the block, says, like, asks Major, what's he going to do about his stepdad? To which Major said he was just going to keep fighting. And Willie said that you'll lose because his stepdad, he doesn't have anything to lose. And Major, he does. And you can't fight people with nothing to lose because they'll never stop. And it gets this message in that, like, people like Major's stepdad and people like Willie, they don't care about the sacrifice, or the sacrifice isn't as much because they don't have as much to lose. So that was like a scene that was added in that I really do think was needed, as well as something that rose the stakes when it came to the what Major ended up doing about the situation. Because the step demon had always went after Major, but I did add in a moment when he went after Dante instead in front of Major, which, did I add that in the second draft? I think I did. I think I just added it in more detail. But this is what was like the straw that broke the camel's back that led Major to do what he did in order to get himself out of the situation with a stepdad. I can't necessarily say I added a scene here, but another note that my male gay cousin gave me was that I shouldn't just straight up ignore teenage hormones, and that Dante and Major touch each other like a lot. So, just small, subtle notes of teenage hormones I had to add in because he's like, yeah, you shouldn't just ignore that. I was like, I feel like I should, but I agreed with him. So I didn't ignore it. But I also just don't like blatantly outright. You just gotta like read between the lines. But yeah, it's not a lot of scenes. It's not a lot of scenes that I actually have to actively cut from my writing. I have in the past have to cut like entire chapters. There are scenes that I have in my head for like future things that I want to write, but aren't fitting. So I'm not going to write. And instead of writing those scenes, I took the essence of those scenes and merged it into other areas. So that way you still get like what I was trying to put down with the scene, but I'm not taking you away from the story just to include something that is going to put a pause on what is already Blue Lights, petite little thing. My other books, big. So what is already going to be a long book, I'm not going to like break you away from the story to continue with something that doesn't matter. It might be cute, it might be fun, but it has to have meaning. And that does not mean that like you can't have the cute and the fun scenes and things of that nature, but what is it doing for the story? Because it has to be moving the story forward in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's through building relationships, increasing understanding, or increasing misunderstanding, introducing conflict, resolving conflict, or ignoring conflict. There has to be something going on here in order for the scene to matter. Like in right now in the third Blue Lights book, there is a scene where like it's just family together. They are currently working on homecoming posters because Dante and Major are running for homecoming king, and like just family moment that could easily easily have been summed up into like a 3 paragraph montage and moving on, but instead is a chapter of its own because there are some things that need to be like established here. Like some characters need to meet other characters. Dante and Major have like a outside of school friend group and an inside of school friend group. Now some of the outside of school friends are about to meet the inside of school friends, and those mergers are important because the outside of school friends are also going to be at the homecoming. So that needed to happen prior to homecoming night. Also, other things that needed to happen was main character Dante is currently going through. I don't want to say he's going through like evolution because he's like kind of actually fighting against it, but they've made senior bucket lists, and it's just like things that they want to accomplish. And part of Dante's spiel here is that he kind of wants to stop just existing and live. Usually he's standing a step behind Major. He's there for support. He's willing to do what Major wants him to do, but he doesn't really step out into the spotlight on his own. And he wants to change that. So this is not happening externally, but internally as they are working on like these posters for homecoming, and he's like actively trying to put in effort. He's thinking about how he should actually put in effort and thinking about like the competition and him and Major running against each other, because beforehand he was like, oh yeah, there's like no way I'm winning against Major, but now he's like, what could I do to win against Major? Friendly competition. But things that help to build relationships, and then like the family structure that's going on, the people that are around is building upon. And also there needs to be a moment between just Dante and Major, because they spent the entire day surrounded by family. So they need a moment because something had happened earlier between Dante and another character that Dante has to share with Major. So I'm taking a scene of like household coziness and using this as a scene to merge in different ideas that are relevant to the story and help push the story forward, instead of it just being like a bunch of fun, witty banter between these characters as they are making posters and about to eat tacos. It could have been just that, but if I did do that, it would have been a waste of time. Because again, this is a moment that I could sum up in 2-3 paragraphs. Moving on. We're next day back at school. But as stated, some things needed to happen in order for the story to keep moving forward. So I figured out a way to merge these ideas. Again, with like the tight storytelling, it's just a matter of making sure everything is important and everything falling in line with something. Again, whether that's character development, character relationships, plot development, something. Think, what is my reader getting out of the scene? And then move on. And like, yes, we want scenes that like make us laugh, make us smile, make us cry, but if the only purpose of the scene is to make us laugh, smile, cry, whatever, then reflect on, do you actually need it, or if I could be doing something else here? Because you know what they say, like there's always a little bit of truth in every joke. So maybe you just got done with some really heavy stuff and you really do need like a light moment. You can incorporate some realness in that light moment, but also think about how us human beings react to things like that. If we just went through something really harsh and deep and dark, and then we like flip around and be like, okay, traumatizing, let's have a fun day. And like, let's go to the beach or something, right? Because every anime needs a beach episode. But as human beings, as real life human beings, what are the odds that we are actually leaving everything that just happened behind us? No. There are going to be moments where you're like staring out into the water and you're thinking about what just happened. There are going to be moments when you get stuck and you don't know what's going on. There are going to be moments when you are actively telling yourself, don't think about it, don't think about it, don't think about it. Those things linger. They move on with you because we're human, or whatever other species that you're writing. But yeah, I don't cut a lot of scenes when I'm writing because I don't write scenes that don't matter. Because I think about how the scene helps the story before I get too deep in it. And if I start writing the scene and I realize the scene is not helping the story, I either figure out a way for it to help the story, or I stop writing it and move on. Yeah, I'm done for today. All right, this is the inner monologue. I am Ari Alistair, and I will catch you manana.